Whether you're picking and grinning or just grinning, grab a drink, pull up a seat. It's time for Roots Music Rambling. Turn it up.
Jason, I have to ask you because I maybe have some preconceived notions about an artist that you saw live recently. So you took your daughter Katie to see Tate McRae.
That's
correct?
right. That's right. I did.
Okay.
Katie and I went to St. Louis, and technically we were there to see Alessi Rose, who was the opener.
Okay.
Because we've seen Tate McRae before. I took her to see Tate McRae a year and a half, 2 years ago in Nashville. So it was my second Tate McRae show. Anyway, but I'll tell you more about her in a minute. But so Alessi Rose is British, and she's in that same mold of like pop dance singers, which Tate McRae is very much. Tate McRae is like a dancer by kind of background, but she's also a pop singer. And for our generation, for our generation, I would compare her to a Britney Spears or a Christina Aguilera or somebody like that. She's actually a very good performer. Tate McRae she's Canadian, and she's a very good performer, puts on a fantastic show. And I thought that 2 years ago when I saw her at an amphitheater in Nashville. This time she was in an arena, like the hockey arena in St. Louis, the Enterprise Center, and had the full pyrotechnics and different stages and also it was really cool. Like, even if you're not into the music, you could sit there and just watch what was happening and appreciate it. So very good showman, Tate McRae is, or showwoman Tate McRae is. Alessi Rose was why we went, though. And I'm very proud of that fact because my daughter has entered a new stratosphere of being a live music aficionado, because we bought these tickets to see Alessi Rose because she's British and doesn't tour in the U.S. very often. So Katie had the forethought to say, I want to see her. Where is she going to play near me? She's opening for Tate McRae in St. Louis. Let's get tickets to that. And that's a Karen level, like my girlfriend Karen. That's her level of, I have to go to Portland to see whatever band because they never come here. And to travel specifically to see one artist who's not even the headliner. Yeah. Katie's entered a new stratosphere of live music fandom. So I'm awfully proud of that.
Well, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree.
This is true. This is true. Although it's hard for me to think Rush just announced a new tour with a new drummer, not Neil Peart, obviously. I would travel to see Rush. I might try to find, a ticket or something to go see that. I would go anywhere to see them. That would be great. There's only a handful of other bands I can think of, though, that I would do that for. And there's not a whole lot of British bands that I'm like super gaga in love with that I would do that for. But hats off to Karen and Katie and whoever else does that, because it's shows a different degree of live music fandom to intentionally do that. But it was a great show. Here's the cool thing. All right. Now this is serendipity, weird, bizarre universe aligning stuff.
Okay.
I got to tell you a story to tell you the story I want to tell you. So 2 years ago, I took Katie to see Gracie Abrams in Nashville. I think we talked about that show on this show somewhere along the line. And it was just Gracie Abrams. Well, there was an opener. I don't remember who they were, but it was a Gracie show. And it was before Gracie really, really blew up. She was big, but not huge. And she was playing this live music venue in Nashville. And Katie got there, and I think she was maybe 14 at the time. And she met these two gals who were from somewhere in Missouri around St. Louis. And they were a couple years older than she was, but they, traded bracelets or whatever the girls do at whatever the Gracie Abrams shows back then. And Katie kind of hung out with these girls at the show while I was in the parents' lounge in the back, because I didn't go there for the show. I went there to just take my daughter. So I was back at the bar area with the other parents who didn't want to be there. And Katie hung out with these two guys.
Myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fast forward 2 years, we're sitting in our seats in section 106 at the Enterprise Center last weekend to see Tate McRae and Alessi Rose. And one of those two gals from the Nashville show 2 years ago sits down right beside Katie, had the tickets right next to us. Same gal. It was amazing. Like, I'm sitting there just staring at my phone, and Katie jumps up, screams, and hugs this girl. And I'm like, what's going on? And it just completely stars aligned, serendipitous. They met 2 years ago at a Gracie Abrams show, and here they were together sitting next to each other at a Tate McRae show. It's kind of nuts.
That is kind of nuts, but they didn't know that each other was going to be there.
Nope.
And they hadn't kept in touch or anything.
They've kept in touch. They I think they ran into each other, or they intentionally, like, they knew they were going to another concert together like last year, and they met up or whatever. But I don't think Katie even reached out to her this time, thinking she would be at this show. We just kind of went, and it just so happened that she was there. It was completely random and bizarre.
That is bizarre.
Yeah.
But how fun.
Yeah, it was very cool. So, I mean, obviously Katie had a great time, and the B stage, the stage that's kind of out in the audience away from the main stage, was right in front of us. And at one point, Tate McRae comes down through the concourse, or the guts of the building, and comes out right below us. And Katie and her friend were hanging over the rail to get pictures or videos or whatever. And then Tate sings right in front of us, and it's a platform that kind of rises up in the air. So she was like eye level, and it was cool. It was really cool. I mean, again, it's not my kind of music.
Yeah.
But I don't mind going because it's a great show, and I love seeing Katie having a good time. And so it was a blast. We had a good time.
Very nice.
There you go. I don't think we'll be extending an invitation to Tate McRae to be on the show, but who knows? If she wants to come on Roots Music Rambler, we'll have her on Roots Music Rambler. I don't see any reason why we wouldn't.
Yeah, and it goes back to what I said at the beginning. Anything I know about Tate McRae probably isn't favorable. Because I run in those hockey circles, right?
Yes.
And being Canadian as she is, I guess she was dating an NHL player. I don't know, or maybe more than one.
Who knows?
I just remember reading stuff about her on social media, and it wasn't very nice.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it's true. It's the only information I had about her.
Sure.
So she just came across to me as a puck bunny.
Well, I think she's more than that. She's definitely a very talented singer and a very talented dancer, and she puts on a good show. And so I think I would call her, at least from what I understand and know about her, she's Britney Spears without the psychopathy. So I think that's where we are with her. I think she's good. She's fine. We like her.
Okay.
For a dad of a teenage girl, she might be a little more, let me put it this way. She might be a little less dressed oftentimes than I would prefer, as a parent, but I'm also I've been told several times that that's none of my damn business. And so keep my mouth shut, Dad. We don't care what she's wearing. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever.
Yes.
So,
yes, Katie.
So there you go.
Excellent.
Anyway.
Well, I'm glad you and Katie got to do that together and have some quality daddy-daughter time.
We did. It was fun. Welcome to Roots Music Rambler. She's Frank.
And he's Falls.
And we're rambling on through the stories behind the music we love.
Yes, and today on the show, we've got some guests that we've been trying to nail down for a few months now, and finally it happened. So we are going to be talking with the Creekers. They are with us on the big show. They have gone from a small bluegrass and country band to a national sensation in just a few short months, right? Thanks to a viral clip on TikTok. Is that true?
That's right. They actually had they've got several things going for them lately, but their song called Tennessee became one of the most played sound bites on TikTok this past summer. It opens up with the line, "Woke up this morning dazed and confused, 1,000 miles from home." I'm not going to try to sing it because I'll butcher it. But you've probably heard that soundbite at some point on TikTok because it's been used. I think literally it was the second most used soundbite on TikTok at one point this summer. Wow. And so for whatever reason, the algorithm and TikTok users ate that line up, and the Creekers saw their streams on TikTok, Spotify, and everywhere explode. But Allen Hacker, the vocalist on that song and one of the singers in the band, also just made it a habit of doing TikTok lives 3 or 4 nights a week. And all those people using the sound suddenly realized they could connect directly with him. And that also kind of anchored their explosion. They really just became big on TikTok.
That is something. And then long story short, they started headlining some festivals, got signed in September to Warner Records, and suddenly they're the biggest thing to come out of Eastern Kentucky since Tyler Childers, would you say?
Yeah, pretty close. You'd be hard pressed to find another bluegrass bass band to see this kind of buzz in a long damn time. And we're super lucky to have them with us. A couple of the guys are going to join us from the band. Tanner Horton is the other primary lead singer, along with Allen Hacker. The band also includes brothers Jagger and Ashton Bowling. They are the rhythm section. Jagger's on bass and backing vocals. Ashton's on the cajon and percussion. Scott Sutton is the banjo picker, and one hell of one at that. And also provides vocals on a few songs. But I think the star of the Creekers live shows, which I've seen them live a couple times now, and I don't think the guys would argue with this at all, is their fiddle player, Anna Blanton. She is nuts.
Yes. And she's the fiddle player that you've seen on TikTok clips setting her bow on fire and stuff, right? She's fiddling while ziplining, fiddling while riding a horse. That's the same person?
Yep, that's her.
And fiddling while riding her husband's shoulders.
Yeah.
So definitely she adds another layer of showmanship and acrobatics to a song or two, and that really helps set their performances apart.
That's right. And Anna aside, they really are a great band to see live. She brings kind of the crazy to the table too with the stunts that she pulls off, but she's a fantastic fiddler as well. Like I said, I've seen them a couple times. They never fail to deliver. There's definitely a reason Warner Records signed these guys and gal, and it's not just great songs. They're going to be a force in bluegrass and country music for the several years to come, and we're really lucky to have these folks on the show today.
Absolutely. And I've listened, and I haven't seen them live yet, but I have pretty much loved everything that I've heard. So, we're excited. This is exciting. But we didn't even talk about where they're from, really, right? They hail from Hayden, Kentucky, which is the name of one of their songs. And they're managed by Tim Parks, who also runs Manchester Music Festival and was also on the show back over the summer.
That's right. Hayden is in Leslie County, Kentucky. It's down there in southeastern Kentucky, not far from the Tennessee border. And Tim Parks, who used to manage Sunday Best and seems to have his hand in helping one artist or another along all the time. He's just a hell of a guy. He helped connect us with these guys, even though all the record company navigation and such was potentially in the way. So we're really, really lucky to have him.
For sure. So we'll also do our Pick and the Grinnin' segment. We'll share new music, old music, artists we think you should listen to. So make sure you stick around after the interview to hear that as well.
That's right. And it's time for me to get fueled up and refill this here cup. When we come back, we're going to get dazed and confused with the Creekers. This is Roots Music Rambler. Welcome back to Roots Music Rambler. There it is, the clip that vaulted the Creekers into viral success. That's the beginning to the song Tennessee, which is somewhere around 8 million streams on Spotify, but far more than that as a soundbite on TikTok. The breakout success story of Leslie County, Kentucky is here with us today in the form of founder Tanner Horton, one of the main voices and members of the Creekers. What do you say, Tanner?
Buddy, it's going good. How you all do it?
We're doing good.
We're doing great.
I understand you spent all day digging a fence, huh?
Yeah, I've been building a fence since, for the last couple of weeks, but I really got after it since Monday.
Nice.
I finally had a week home.
Well, and the reason I wanted to ask that question and have you talk about it a little bit is because one of the reasons that you guys know who I am is when you guys signed your big record deal. I did a post on TikTok and somebody, jumped in and said they sold out, and I lost my mind and, went off on the guy. And I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew you've signed a big record deal and you're in this big band now and you're out there digging fence posts all day.
Oh yeah. I had a sheep wrestled out there a little while ago, doctoring her foot. And
I love it.
We had one come up to the feed pan limping, and we had to get her down and doctor her foot.
There you go.
Did you say sheep?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Tanner's for real. He's got the farm and the land and the truck and the sheeps and the yep.
Wait till you see my mule.
Saw you riding one the other day on the old Facebooks or something. So good stuff.
I got 5.
Riding a sheep?
No,
mule.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Okay. Whew, I'm gonna just stay my Yankee ass over here. Okay.
Nice. All right, so Tanner, let's go through it a little bit. You've got you and Allen Hacker, who is I believe a cousin of yours, and then you've got Ashton and Jagger Bowling, who I believe are also cousins of yours. Is that accurate?
No, they're brothers,
right?
But they're cousins to Allen's wife.
Okay. So there's some familial relations in there that make it all make sense. And then Ken, yeah, and then you got Scott Sutton, and he's not related to anybody, is he?
No, but I am kin to his wife.
Okay, well, so there you go. We've got some kin in there, and then there's the X factor, Anna Blanton, who's the Yankee.
Yeah,
of the
we
group.
finally started claiming her. We can't run her off, so.
Well, no, I don't know if I'd want to run her off. She's hell of a show.
I'm joking. She's been with us basically since day one, and we wouldn't take nothing for her.
Love it.
Nice. So let's talk about Scott for a second, because he plays my favorite instrument, which is the banjo. But from what Jason has told me, his joining the band was kind of like the thing that made it all come together. Is that right? And if so, what did he bring to the table that helped you guys really start clicking?
Well, I've always been a bluegrass guy, and we wouldn't. Well, I ain't gonna say we're bluegrass now, but we really wouldn't as a 4-piece before our Portman the Creek album. We was still in our doing the bar gig type stuff. We had a lot of originals, but we wouldn't. We was. I don't know how to explain it. We was country, but we wasn't bluegrass. But I've always been a bluegrass guy, and since I can remember. And I had wrote some more old-timey songs, or bluegrassy songs. And before we went to record, I got thinking, man, some of these sound pretty good with a banjo on them. And, I've played one a little bit myself, but I'm not good enough to record with one. And, I've known Scott basically my whole life. His father-in-law was the first guy to ever let me on stage. That little thing we used to do in hiding here every week. But, and Jagger, he's known him. I think the first band Jagger was ever in, Scott was a banjo player.
Mm-hmm.
So, me and Jagger both have known him all of our life, basically. And I said, well, let me give Scott a call. We got up with him, and he said, yeah. And we just, we were just going to pay him to come in and, lay down banjo on them songs. And that's the way we come up with Anna, too. We was looking for a fiddle player. But Scott he's done it all his life. He's played since he was, 10 or 11. He just, just something about a banjo for one thing, but he's played with I don't know how many bands. He's got the experience, he's got the know-how, he's got the talent. He's the comedian of the bunch as well. We say he's funnier than a barrel of monkeys, but
well, it seems to me like he's got and you touched on it. He's got the experience, but he's got the maturity and probably the focus and discipline to kind of bring you guys together and make you rehearse and make you get really good. Does that sound right?
Yeah, he's always wanting to practice, which I am too, but that's what he always preaches,
Mm-hmm.
And we don't get a lot of time. Most of our practice is on stage anymore. We don't have much time here lately, but winter's getting ready to kick up, and we're about to die down for a little while, so we got to get together. Yeah, he's always preaching on it, which I agree.
Sure. Now, let me ask about Allen a bit, because as I understand it, you guys are cousins. I think you all went to high school together, but you guys didn't play together like when you were younger. This was something that developed a little bit later on, right?
No, I'll just back way up here.
Okay.
We're basically from the same holler. He's from one fork of it, and I'm from the other fork. He's from the right-hand fork, and I'm from the left-hand fork of the same holler. And me and him, we knew each other, obviously. And I knew he was a phenomenal singer and all that stuff. And we share a cousin that is also it's just stupid, amazing guitar player. He's a lefty too. And Allen was playing with him a lot, just whatever, sitting around on the porch mostly. And I was too, but it was never all at the same time. And then our cousin Tayton, which is the lefty guitar player, and his grandpa and my grandpa are brothers, and they have properties that neighbor each other on Lake Cumberland. And they would always go down there, and if Tayton's papa didn't have enough room for Tayton and all his buddies, he'd just go up there and unlock my papa's house and let them stay in it. I don't think my papa knew that, but I go down there one weekend to fish, and I pull up to the house, and all the lights are on, the front door's wide open. I said, what in the world? I walk in the house, and there's Tayton and Allen sitting there playing on the couch. Had no idea they was there. And we've pretty much been together ever since.
Nice.
Matter of fact, I think he might have lay you down, or he might have finished lay you down on the porch of that cabin that weekend, if I am thinking correctly.
Wow.
It was one of the weekends we were down there. That was 12 years ago or more.
Let me put my PR media hat on here for a second, repackage that story for you a little bit. What you need to say is the Creekers started because Allen broke into my papa's house.
Well, yeah, okay, we'll do that.
That's quite an origin story.
Heck yeah. He just got arrested on stage again, didn't he? The other night?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was fun.
For real?
No. They was some the city police there in the town we were playing at in Barberville, Kentucky. All them guys are great, but they was, walking us back and forth to the stage to the green room, but it was about, they was probably 2 or 3 blocks in between the stage and the green room, and which, I didn't really think was all that necessary until we walked down the street and we got hounded, which is fine. I love that. It's kind of cool. But anyways, they was all standing around backstage, and Allen's father-in-law was like, hey, what would y'all take to go up there when we walk off and just put him in handcuffs? And I was like, hell, we'll do it for hell, I'm ready. Let's do it. And that's how that happened.
Yeah, that sounds like something Shane would do. So
yeah.
For those who don't know, or if you were listening to the intro, Allen's father-in-law, Shane, is the guy who was up my ass for a year about you guys before you ever blew up, saying, dude, you got to listen to the Creekers. You have these guys on your show. You got to do it. And I just put him off. And then finally listened one day. I was like, oh shit, you were right. So
he's good at it. Definitely.
He is. He's a hawker.
I've known Shane probably longer than I've known anyone. He was my next door neighbor when I was like from an infant to I was about 5 or 6 years old. He was my next door neighbor. I've literally known him longer than I have anybody else around.
It was a real treat to see you all drag him up on stage for Gin and Juice. That was fun.
That's also something he's been doing since I was a toddler. Probably I've heard that
singing Gin and Juice.
Life. Yes, the Gorge version.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's a good one. That is a good one. So let's go back to before Tennessee exploded. The song, not the state, on TikTok. Okay. So how did that happen? Was it a surprise? I mean, did you just wake up one day and your phone was exploding with messages from folks?
It was kind of a fluke. We got asked to go to Real Roots Radio in Xenia, Ohio. They're mostly a bluegrass radio station. And, we knew the guy that runs it. And, but we got asked to go up there and promote some bluegrass festivals for a buddy of ours, Sammy Carr. I'll throw Sammy a bone there. Sam Jam and Spirit in the Bluegrass.
Love it.
Bluegrass in the Bluegrass. But we went up there to promote some festivals that we were playing at for him. And, they videoed the whole thing, but it was live on the radio. And we done, 4 or 5. Well, we done everything that was on we done 3 or 4 songs off the river at ET. And that was that. We played in Newport that night at Southgate House. We just announced our show there coming up in December. But we were playing there, and so it was only supposed to be like an hour out of the way, and it wound up turning into like 4 hours out of the way because the interstate was backed up between Cincinnati and Xenia. But it was all right. But that was why we went up there, was just to help our old buddy out, and didn't think nothing of it. And I don't know how long I suck with dates, by the way. I'm terrible. I've usually got Jagger or Ashton here to correct me on stuff like that, but it was a short while later. We'll just put it like that. A few weeks, couple weeks, something like that. I woke up one morning, and Johnny Lynn had already been up. She said, "Y'all are blowing up on TikTok." I said, "What are you talking about?" She said, "That Real Roots video of Tennessee is like at 150,000 views. And it had just been posted the day before or something like that." And I was like, "Oh crap, which 150,000 views is pretty daggone good." And well, if y'all know me, I didn't think nothing else of it. I went to go do whatever. Just cause I don't know.
Build the fence.
It takes a lot to excite me, or on some stuff, it takes a lot to excite me. Well, I just went on about my day. That night, I went and looked, and it was at like 500,000 views. I was like, "Oh crap!" Or the next night, or whenever it was, I can't remember, but it was that night or the next day. I looked, and it was like 500,000 views. I was like, "That's stupid." I mean, in a good way. And then after it turned over 1 million, that's when we started getting emails and phone calls and emails and phone calls and emails and phone calls. And I think we done like 18 Zoom calls in a week.
Yep.
With different people. And yeah, that's how that happened.
That's crazy. Wow. That's so much fun. I remember watching it happen and, just rooting for you guys the whole time. It was just neat to see it blow up. And obviously the snowball keeps rolling down the hill, which is great. Real quickly, I got to ask about Anna. I happen to know, as you mentioned earlier, she's the Yankee out of the bunch, meaning she lives in New Albany, Indiana, up here around Louisville. So first, how did you find her? And second, how did you pry her away from the 42 other bands she plays with? Because she's like a known commodity in these parts. And, I wouldn't have expected her to wind up with, no offense, a ragtag bunch of dudes from Hyden, if you know what I mean.
Well, that goes back to recording Pour Me in the Creek. We got the banjo. Scott was in to record, and I was like, "Well, heck, we need a fiddle player now, or a mandolin player, or somebody. We need something to play something that's not a guitar or a banjo or a bass or a cajon." I really didn't care what it was, dobro, whatever. If we could find a good dobro player, we just want something else to add to it. And our very first, I don't know if a lot of people probably don't remember this, unless you've been with us since day one. We had an EP out that we recorded right in this back bedroom of my house here. And it was called Homesick. That was the first recording we ever done. I think it cost us like $400. And we done it. We moved the bed out, put the mattress up against the wall to block as much noise as we could, hung quilts over the walls, and that's where we recorded. We had Ashton playing the cajon straight down the hall in what's now my kid's bedroom, because it was just a recording nightmare in that one room with that cajon. But we had a guy that I've known for a long time. He's originally from Hazard, but he's played with Tyler Childers. He's played with everybody. Scott Napier. I don't know if you know Scott. He's married to one of the Price sisters.
Yep.
They do that Bill Monroe type bluegrass, which they're great. I've known them all for a long time. But anyways, Scott stopped by the house the day before we was going to record, and he had a mandolin strap he wanted me to work on. I've got a little leather shop. And I tinker on stuff like that. And he had as a matter of fact, it was Doyle Lawson's mandolin strap that Doyle had gave him. He said, can you size this strap from, to me, it's been, sized up to Doyle. And I said, yeah. And while he was there, I said, hey, we're going to record tomorrow. I said, we got one song I think would absolutely be killer with your mandolin playing on it. And he said, well, yeah. He said, play it for me right quick. And we did. And he didn't have a mandolin with him, but he recorded on his phone, went home, practiced it. Next day, showed up and done it. Like, he's who I wanted the kid to come record. Because we re-recorded the songs we had on our first EP because they were recorded in a bedroom and not in a real studio. And but we couldn't get him. I was talking to Tim. I said, man, I'm having a hard time coming up with somebody. He said, let me do some hunting around. Well, it wasn't 10 minutes. I was up in the horse lot doing something to the barn. And he called me back and he said, you ever heard of Anna Blanton? I said, nope. He said, well, look her up. So I did. I said, she's in. I'm all for it. He said, okay. Well, I said, I got her phone number. I recorded just on my phone everything that we wanted fiddle on. I sent it to her, and she showed up. And she'll tell you this. She said she walked in the room and just seen us standing around. She's like, what the hell is going on here? She didn't. And but we sat in and jammed. She busted that fiddle out, and Scott pulled the banjo out, and I got a guitar, and we busted off in that old fiddle tune. And she's been with us pretty much since then.
That's great.
Matter of fact, we got our first show as a 6-piece. We booked it at the studio. Tim texted me, said, y'all want to open up for Rhonda Vincent at Renfro Valley? And I said, yep. I asked Scott, I told Scott, I said, you in? He said, yep. And I asked Anna, I said, are you in? She said, yep. I said, okay.
There you go.
And that first show was a 6-piece, Renfro Valley.
There
Rhonda
you go.
Vincent, our banjo player, had a heart attack on stage that night.
Oh, my goodness.
And didn't stop.
Well,
he had no idea he was having a heart attack. He just started feeling really bad, like just hurting, and started to get a little bit delirious. And I saw his face flush white, but I thought he was nervous, or just because it was a pretty good crowd, and he hadn't been on the stage like that in a long time. He has, but it'd been a while. And I just thought it, just because I was up there about the same way, but it was just nervousness for me. But and we got done. He put his banjo in the case and went and got in the car, laid down in the back seat, and laid there till his wife and daughter decided to leave, because we wound up going back on stage with Rhonda that night, and we was looking around for him. They said he's in the car, so he feels bad. Monday morning, he goes to work. About a week later, they made him go to the doctor, and he said, the doctor said, yeah, man, you've had a heart attack about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, my goodness.
For some, what's funny, I know that there's a lot of people out there that hear that story and can't believe it, but for somebody who plays an instrument in a bluegrass band, that does not surprise me. Somebody from our neck of the woods, Tanner, has a heart attack and just keeps right on going like, well, I don't feel good, but whatever, I got to play.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't surprise me in the least.
They tried to kill him. He's got a pacemaker in now. He said, they tried to kill me, and he'll pull it certain. He said, but he's all I got to do is hit the ground. This thing's acting me back to life.
My goodness. Well, let's play a couple more tunes for the folks besides Tennessee. And when we come back, we'll dig into more of the music, talk a little bit about the big news of late, signing that first big record deal. But let's go to break with one of my favorite Creaker tunes. This is River Rat on Roots Music Rambler.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Well, it's summer here in Hutton, and this heat sure ain't no joke. but it suits me to a T.
Great, but you was the highlight of my night. The way you moving your hips and singing along to every song you know, it's driving me wild. Well, you got me drunk on your love in the back of this pickup truck. We stay out all night, that's right, praying the sun never comes up.
Welcome back to Roots Music Rambler. That's Lay You Down from the Creekers. Tanner Horton is here, and Allen Hacker is the voice you hear on that tune. We've talked about him already. It's real easy for fans to get obsessed with a song like Tennessee that goes viral, but these guys have a full album and an EP out chock full of great songs like that, plus a catalog that they pull from live that's also great, and they're getting ready to record another album, I'm sure, in the next few months that's going to have a bunch of new stuff on it. So, Tanner, have you reached a point yet where you really hope people move past Tennessee, at least the fans who haven't necessarily been with you all along, and let you open that catalog up more, or you just keep going back to that well and let it run?
Well, we're letting it run as much as we can right now, but yeah, I'd like for them to find the rest of her stuff, you know. We got 18 songs, 17 songs, something like that. Or no, yeah, it's 18. We got 18 total songs out, available everywhere. You know, Tennessee's a dandy. We got some good ones. You know, we got some other good ones. I will tell you this. Not too long ago, I think me and Ellen both was, I don't want to say tired of hearing Tennessee, but, you know, open TikTok or Facebook and scroll, and it's just woke up, yeah. And we both wrote a song the same night about Kentucky. Didn't know it neither. He sent me a voice recording. He said, I started writing this last night, and I sent him a voice recording of mine. I said, well, hell, I wrote this last night too.
Wow. So you mentioned writing a song, right? You wrote a song one night, same night he did. So what is your process, your songwriting process for the band, for you? Like, how do you all work it out?
I write when the mood hits me. I hadn't wrote one in 3 months and sat in there, out there in my man cave 2 nights ago and wrote one in about 30 minutes. I hadn't wrote one in 2 months or 3 months, maybe. I can't even remember, but it's been a while. Well, I'd say the last one I wrote was the one that I just mentioned there, the Kentucky song. And then I hadn't wrote one, that's been 2 or 3 months ago. And I wrote another one night before last.
Wow.
I don't know. Wow. I'm still humming it and trying to get it in my head. It's starting to warm up to me a little bit. I wasn't much fan of it after I wrote it for a little while.
So just out of curiosity, do you write the lyrics down, or do you write the chords down, or do you just kind of hum it into your phone and then work on it, kind of mull it around? Or is there a formality to it at all?
I'm a big melody guy. I get my melody usually lined out, or as much as possible, and then, you know, something new might hit me and I might throw that or take something out and put it in or whatever. And I usually start with a line or two and work on the melody, and then I'll come back and go back to the, you know, next couple lines or something until I get a verse or two. And then usually after I get a verse, it's usually I'm rolling then.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, since we're talking about songs and we've mentioned the big Warner Records deal that the band signed last month, what can you tell us about the new album or the new work? Because we know there will be one. We don't know when. We don't know what's going to be on it and such. What can you share with us about that without getting our buddies in Nashville all wound up about it?
Well, we're about like you. We don't know when we're going to do it either. We're working on we're right in the middle of picking some dates right now to get in the studio. We'll try to get in sometime this winter.
Yeah.
You know, we was planning on December, but we started to book it out a lot, which we can do that during the week. But yeah, we're trying to get some dates planned out right now to get in the studio, but we've got pretty much an album ready to go or ready to record. We might have more on the album wrote, so we'll probably pick and choose a little bit, but we're getting there.
Yeah,
There's
I bet. And
there's some pretty good songs between me and Alan. We've got some good ones.
Oh yeah.
so, how has life changed, or has it changed at all since the signing?
It ain't changed a whole lot. I bought a lot of livestock.
As you do.
I bought a lot of livestock. I did go havers with the finance company on a new truck the other day, but that's only. But I mean, other than that, it's pretty much around here anyway. I might get cornered in the save a lot or something for a minute, and that did happen a couple weeks ago. It happened twice in the same week.
Oh no.
Yeah, I had to
Save-A-Lot.
sign an autograph in the checkout line at the Save-A-Lot.
Wow.
But
Did you ever envision something like that happening, signing autographs in the Save-A-Lot checkout line?
Nope. But I mean, other than that, we're pretty much just trucking along like we always have. We're we're staying about too busy to worry about things too much. This is the first full week I've been home and since it all happened, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You guys have definitely been on the road taking advantage of that splash, which is good. So hopefully there'll be a little bit of time for you to rest and recuperate, write some songs, and then get ready to get in the studio here this winter. That'd be great.
I ain't been resting much this week. I've worked like a borrowed mule.
Well, when you got to dig posts and ride mules and dig stuff out of sheep's, hooves and stuff, it's a life right there. That's what you got to do.
I've hand dug 40-some fence post holes this week. Well, in the last couple of weeks on and off, but my old shoulders is killing me today.
I bet. You need to probably take out an insurance policy so you can still play that guitar now.
Yeah, I've been trying to watch myself not cut my fingers up too bad on that old.
Now, I know our podcast is about music, but this is such a cultural experience for me, such a lesson that I'm learning. This is great. This is great.
I haven't lapsed too bad into my old Pike County dialect quite yet, so that's good, I guess.
Not yet. I feel it coming though. Well, we are certainly very happy for you guys and for you and the rest of the band. And I know Jason has been high on you for such a long time, and we can't wait to see what's next, whatever and whenever it comes.
Yeah. And Alan, obviously, Alan's father-in-law, Shane, and I have become real good friends. And like I said earlier, he was on my ass for months about you guys. And I finally sat down one day and I listened to the first album and the EP and just thought, man, Shane's right. I should have been paying closer attention. And I sure am glad that I've been here for what I've been here for, and I can't wait to see what's next. So tell people where they can find you and your music and your tour dates and all that stuff to keep up with you on them there interwebs.
You can find our website. It's been changed recently, so it's the Creekers Band .inc something. I don't keep up with that stuff, but you can go to our Facebook website, links there, TikTok, or it's the links in our bio. You can find all that stuff on our website. Johnny Lynn tries to keep it pretty much updated all the time. She works like 4 jobs, including running our stuff and a full-time job. She works from home, but yeah, you can find everything on our website. I try to do, we try to do as many updates as we can on Facebook so you don't have to go to the website. And I try to keep the TikTok up. harder job than I ever anticipated. I've been
when you're a big damn deal on the TikToks, it becomes difficult, doesn't it?
Damn, I reckon. I've been trying to keep up with it, and I've failed a little bit the last few days. I've been trying to get some stuff caught up around here, but well, I went from posting 2 or 3 times a day to I think I posted once 2 days ago and once today. So,
well, that's all right. It ebbs and flows. It'll be fine. Well, we'll make sure that there's links to all those places in the show notes so people can find you easily. Tanner Horton, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We love what you're doing. Excited to see what's next for you. I've got tickets to see a couple shows in the next few weeks. I can't wait to see you guys live because you guys always bring it. And we really appreciate the time and are happy as hell for you guys. So thanks for spending some time with us, man.
Ain't no problem, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Yes.
All right. The Pick and the Grinning segment's coming up next. For now, we're going to go out with Homesick Blue from the Creekers. This is Roots Music Rambler.
Well, spend my last dollar when I moved out of that holler. I left everything behind, everything to call mine. But I knew something could change, something needed rearranged. There's a burning fire inside, I don't think could ever die. I'm missing home, I'm missing you. Lord, I'm so blue. I'm missing home. Homesick Blue.
How about that? The Creekers right here on Roots Music Rambler have been chasing after those guys for a little while. In fact, it's kind of ironic. Allen Hacker's father-in-law, Shane, and I are connected on Twitter. And Shane was up my butt for a year about these guys. You got to listen to the Creekers. You got to have the Creekers on the show. You got to listen to the Creekers. And for one reason or another, I just never had time. I never took the time to really get into their music. And he kept bugging me. And finally, one day I sat down and I listened to a couple songs. I'm like, oh my God, these guys are really good. So we started to get them on the show, and then they blew up. And it was like, I may have missed my shot, you know. But fortunately, I'm buddies with Shane, buddies with Tim, who happens to be their manager. And so we were able to and of course the guys also, when they signed the record deal, I posted something about it on TikTok, and one of the people, who commented on the, thing accused them of selling out by signing a record deal. And I responded to that comment on TikTok and lost my mind. Mm-hmm. Just ripped this guy a new rear end.
I remember.
In as polite a way as I could. But like I was screaming at him, like, whose team are you on? You can't root against these guys. Well, because of that response, like all the guys on the Creekers, the next time I went to see them, they're like, Falls, what's up? Like they love me. So I kind of, I wedged myself in there in the good favor of the Creekers along the way, which I'm sure helps grease the wheels a little bit. So. But man,
excellent.
I love those guys, man. They're so good.
I know you do. You do.
I almost wore my Creekers shirt to do the interview tonight, but when I went to the last Creekers show, I wore the Creekers shirt, and Karen was like, you can't wear this shirt to the band you're going to see. It's not cool. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what's cool. I love these guys. So anyway.
Can I just add something to that?
Yes, please.
Jenny Rose of Vandaliers said, you wear the band t-shirt. You wear whatever you want. You want to come to a Vandaliers show in a Vandaliers t-shirt? Hell yeah. Then do it. And so guess what? Ever since she told me that, I have worn my Vandaliers shirt to all the shows that I've seen. Vandaliers shows that I've gone to.
As you should. Anyway, I don't care. I don't really care what people think about what I wear, so it doesn't bother me.
As long as you got something on.
Exactly. I'm not taking my shirt off anywhere. That would probably cause a natural disaster or something to happen. Anyway, so it's time for the Pick and the Grinning segment. That's where Frank and I pick songs or artists or movies or whatever the hell we want to pick that's making us grin this week. It's our way of recommending new music to you. but it might be new. It might be old music that we've just sort of brought up again to listen to, all that good stuff. So, Frank, what you got in the picking the grinning category today?
So I've got a real fun one and definitely different. This past weekend, as we're recording, Tom and I spent Sunday at Fitzgerald's. I know, shocker, right? I feel like I should have like a room there, just or maybe somewhere to just keep some toiletries. I don't know. But anyway, on this past Sunday, Fitzgerald's had Honky Tonktoberfest.
Nice.
Okay. So a bunch of local bands and acts played, and it was hosted by Wild Earp, who was one of my picking the grinnins, not that long ago. But there were a ton of other Chicago area bands, the Swains, which features my friend Rachel Swain, and Wild Earp himself and his band played, and Los Gallos, our friends, Los Gallos also played. They were outstanding. And then a new to me band called Dirndls. Okay. Now remember, this was a Oktoberfest type thing. Okay. So Dirndls, which is actually spelled Dern Dolls, Dolls at the end. So it's a play on the word that the traditional German wear that the women wear. Right. And I wasn't quite sure what to expect, but holy guacamole, they are a riot and so talented. Oh my goodness, that their set had everything. There was a clarinet. There was yodeling. There was an accordion.
Okay.
There was a tuba.
This is all sounding very German.
Very German. Holy shnikes. Tom, he lost his mind. He's like, if my Polish grandma were still alive, and we did the chicken dance. I mean, they were so much fun and so talented. I don't know their names, and I've been looking. I don't think they even have a website. So I found their Facebook and of course their Instagram, and I don't know each member's name, right? Mm-hmm. But the young lady who plays the accordion and does the yodeling, phenomenal. I mean, I want to sit down and drink a couple steins of beer with her. She was so great. And I mean, I'm dialed in now. I will not miss a time that the Dirndls play a show because they were so much fun. So I have not found them on Spotify either. So hopefully, maybe they're on YouTube. There's some videos. I didn't look, but hopefully we can track something down to share with everybody because they are just so much fun.
Well, we'll find some links to wherever and put those in the show notes for everybody. The Dirndls, I like it. Sounds good. Looking forward to digging into that if we can find them. So here we go. All right, I got one for you, and this is much in the vibe of the Creekers, our guests today. And another one of our friends of the show, Bill Taylor. So Bill Taylor and the Appalachian Heatherns, we interviewed them a couple months ago, and Bill is known for his TikTok and social media videos where what he calls hollering in the woods. He goes out in the middle of the woods and sings a cappella. So there's a gentleman who's much in that vibe. He's not too far away either. He's in Hazard, Kentucky. His name is Roy Cottle, and Roy Cottle works at a liquor store. And when there's nobody in the liquor store, he turns on his phone and starts singing songs a cappella in the liquor store. And he actually played at Manchester Music Fest this year. He's has a wonderful voice, incredibly talented. He's also a member of something called the Kentucky Music Mafia. And it's this blend of traditional mountain country bluegrass pickers who also rap and mix some hip hop vibes into what they're doing. They're really just kind of blurring the genres. So Roy's in that group and does a lot of singing with them. And I just was taken with him at Manchester Music Fest. He's got a great voice. And then I looked him up on the social medias and I see that he works at a liquor store and he sings a cappella to no one in particular in the liquor store, but he sounds great. He does a lot of country covers and whatnot, but he does some original stuff too. And I just think Roy Cottle needs more people watching him because I think he's fantastic. He's got a great voice, and he was great on stage in Manchester. And I hope he gets a full band and gets out there and starts touring at some point because I think he's talented as hell. So Roy Cottle, and we'll make sure you got links to him in the show notes as well. Good stuff.
Excellent. Since he works at a liquor store, maybe he can get you a deal on some bourbon.
Yeah, maybe he could. I got a little bit left after the show, so maybe.
Oy Dios.
Roy, you got to hook me up here, brother. All right. Anyway, I think that's going to wrap it up. This has been a hell of a show, and I'm just tickled pink we had the Creakers on. Good to have them here. Roots Music Rambler is a production of Falls and Partners, copyright 2025. Our theme music is Sheepskin and Beeswax by Gentacorum. Join us online at rootsmusicrambler.com and make sure you mash that subscribe or follow button so you remember to join us for the next hoedown and throwdown. She's Frank.
And he's Falls.
And whatever you do, kids, ramble on.